Every family has a little dysfunction. And then there's Welcome to Plathville, where one awkward dinner conversation somehow turns into 3 years of emotional damage.
I mean, it is just a complete unvarnished look at what happens when an entire family system collapses, right? Like, just completely crumbles under the weight of its own unhealed grief.
Babes, welcome back. In honor of our trash panda Kim, the wine is on deck. And babes, of course, welcome back.
We are so back, and we have so much to unpack today.
We really do. You know, I was sitting on my couch this week, just staring at the wall after watching this, and I had to really ask myself why I honestly love this show and its messy family dynamics. Like, I spiral on the why all the time.
Oh, absolutely, because it's toxic.
So toxic. Is it the drama? Is it the sheer chaos of it all? Or is it watching people have conversations that should have happened, like, 10 years ago?
It's all of the above. It's watching people try to communicate with zero tools.
Honestly, I don't know. But babes, you're absolutely here for it, and so are we. And to survive it, we need provisions, so let's talk about tonight's wine.
Please tell me it's strong.
Oh, it's strong. I picked up this bottle because I felt it really embodied the energy of the farm. The tasting notes on the back sound completely made up, of course. It says, hints of blackberry, toasted oak. But I'm going to be real. What I am detecting on the palate are hints of blackberry and intense emotional instability.
See, you always do this. You're projecting your reality TV trauma onto fermented grape juice again.
I am. I can taste the passive aggression.
I swear the wine industry just makes these descriptions up. Every single wine review should simply be 3 words, okay? Would drink again. That is it. Does it do the job? Does it help me survive an hour of Kim playing the victim?
I mean, true. It definitely falls into the would drink again category. I think we can agree this is the absolute perfect pairing for the Plathville chaos.
The only pairing, really. You need a full glass to deal with this family.
You really do. But before we head to Cairo, Georgia, the family group chat has been absolutely unhinged this week.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
Which means we urgently need to discuss narcissist mothers.
Yeah?
Because, babes, our own moms have been bringing the heat.
The heat has been brought. The kitchen is on fire.
Yes. Let me tell you what happened to me on Tuesday. I am just, minding my own business, working right. My phone buzzes. It's a message from my mom in the family chat.
Always a dangerous notification.
Always. So, exactly 3 minutes go by. 3 literal minutes. And my phone just lights up with a 4-paragraph message. 4 entire paragraphs asking why nobody in the family replied to the first message she sent, like 180 seconds earlier.
She clocked the response time.
She clocked it. And how does she end this manifesto? She literally ends it with, "I'm fine."
Oh, wow. The 3 deadliest words in the English language.
Right. She is clearly not fine. There are, exclamation points everywhere, a multi-layered guilt trip, and then just, "I'm fine." I was sweating. I felt like I was being held hostage by iMessage.
That is exactly what it is. It's manufactured martyrdom. Analytically speaking, that first message wasn't even about sharing information. It was a test. It was a compliance check.
A compliance check. That is so accurate.
Yeah, when you didn't respond within her completely arbitrary, uncommunicated time limit, she felt a loss of control. So the 4 paragraphs were just to reestablish dominance.
It is so exhausting. But wait, your mom took a completely different route to driving you insane this week.
Well, she did. She took a highly analytical approach to the emotional warfare. So she calls me asking for help with this incredibly niche tech issue on her tablet.
Oh no, stop right there. A tech issue with a parent is a trap. It is a minefield.
A total trap. So playing the dutiful child, I give her 3 perfectly reasonable step-by-step suggestions. I am using my calmest, most regulated voice, and she ignores every single one of my suggestions in real time.
Just completely ignores you.
Just hums over me, like, Then she goes off, hangs up, and solves the problem in the most convoluted, backward, chaotic way possible. And then, this is the kicker, she calls me back to explicitly explain why everyone else's suggestions were wrong, and her chaotic method was actually the genius way to do it.
No, she called you back just to flex on you.
Yes, she needed the validation of proving me wrong on a problem she literally couldn't figure out 5 minutes prior. She didn't want a solution, she wanted an arena.
That is diabolical. It really makes you debate whether every single family secretly has their own reality show playing out in the group chats.
Oh, we are all one TLC camera crew away from international infamy, I promise you.
Totally. But speaking of creating your own chaotic reality, I need to call you out for a second.
Oh boy, here we go.
Because I have been watching your Amazon packages arrive,
Yeah.
and you have been preparing for this upcoming Dude Ranch weekend by buying the most absurd survival supplies on the internet.
I feel deeply attacked. I'm just trying to be prepared. Environmental control is a valid coping mechanism.
You bought cowboy boots.
Yes, for a ranch where one rides horses.
Bestie, they are cowboy boots that have never and will never touch actual dirt. They look like they belong at a Nashville bachelorette party. They are pristine leather. And what about that unnecessarily expensive hat?
It is a high-quality Stetson. It provides structural integrity and UV protection. And yes, I also bought an industrial-sized vat of SPF 50 because let me tell you something. The outdoors is aggressive.
The outdoors is aggressive. I am screaming.
It is. The sun is actively trying to damage our cellular DNA. The bugs are relentless, and I refuse to be caught slipping in the wilderness.
I am just crying laughing because every single week it feels like we've somehow moved farther away from our life goals of becoming pampered sugar daddy babies and closer to becoming unhinged wilderness survival influencers.
I will be safe, I will be stylish, and I will not have premature aging. Okay.
You're going to be out there at a pristine Stetson covered in white sunscreen looking for a Wi-Fi signal. But babes, enough about our own family therapy session. Let's head to Plathville.
Let's do it. We have to break down the sheer mechanics of manipulation we just witnessed.
It was so heavy. We have to start with Kim's therapy session with Dr. Tai.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Dr. Tai deserves a raise, a Nobel Peace Prize, a vacation home, everything.
She is carrying the entire mental health industry on her back this season.
She really is.
Yeah.
So we open the episode, Kim is sitting there on the couch, and for the first time in basically 8 seasons, we see a genuine crack in the facade. She is sobbing, and she's talking about the tragic loss of her 17-month-old son, Joshua. And I have to admit, my heart was actually in my throat.
Yeah, it's a genuinely devastating topic. We have to acknowledge the reality of this. We're talking about a mother who accidentally ran over her own toddler on their farm. The sheer magnitude of that trauma is unimaginable.
You wouldn't wish it on anyone. And for years, we've just watched this family operate with this massive black hole of grief sitting right in the middle of their farmhouse.
Right, just completely distorting everything around it.
Exactly. I was having such a visceral, emotional reaction to seeing her actually be raw about it. She talks with the graphic images of the accident, how she can't unsee what she saw that day. I was sitting on my couch, wine in hand, literally tearing up.
It's hard not to. It humanizes her for a brief second.
It does. It's like beneath all the control and the weird rules she forced on those kids, there is this broken woman who never got help.
And this is where Dr. Tai provides an incredibly brilliant framework. She drops this phenomenal line. She says, grief is internal, mourning is external.
Oh, that hit me so hard.
Right. She explains that Kim has kept it all internalized. She hasn't mourned. She's just gripped the grief tightly in her fist. And then Dr. Tai gives her the hardest but most necessary advice. She tells Kim, your kids need you to hear them. Even if they give you a brutal, graphic play-by-play of their own trauma, you have to sit through it. You cannot walk out.
I got literal chills. You have to sit through it. It's such a simple instruction, but for Kim, it's like asking her to breathe underwater.
Because her entire coping mechanism is avoidance and control.
Exactly. What has Kim done for the past 10 years? She shuts it down. If a conversation isn't flattering to her, she walks away. Dr. Tai is telling her she has to surrender her control.
She's asking Kim to be a container for her children's pain. But the tragic flaw in a narcissistic family system is that the parent cannot be a container for the child because the parent expects the child to be a container for them.
Oh, wow. Wait, say that again. That is exactly it.
And that is exactly why the empathy window we had for Kim slammed shut about 45 seconds later.
Literally slammed shut. My neck snapped from the whiplash.
Because Kim immediately pivots the therapy session to make it entirely about herself.
Yes. Instead of absorbing this profound, life-changing advice about holding space for her kids, what does she do? She complains to the therapist about Lydia.
Of course she does. She complains that Lydia went on an unplanned podcast to discuss Joshua's death, and Kim is deeply offended because she felt like Lydia was blaming her.
And she says, this blew my mind, she says she wants to set boundaries with Lydia about what she can and cannot talk publicly about.
Setting boundaries with a 21-year-old daughter about her own life experiences, it's staggering hypocrisy.
I was losing my mind. Lydia was there. Lydia lost a brother. Lydia suffered trauma. But Kim completely misses Dr. Tai's point.
Yeah.
Dr. Tai is saying, let the kids grieve. Kim hears, I need to gag order my adult daughter so she doesn't make me look bad on Apple Podcasts.
Kim views her children purely as extensions of her own reputation. She refuses to acknowledge that the reason Lydia spoke publicly is precisely because Kim never provided a safe space for that mourning inside the house.
Right. If you forbid truth-telling inside the house, they will find a microphone outside the house.
Exactly. And then the setup. This is where it gets so dark.
Oh my God, the ambush.
Kim leaves therapy, looks dead into the reality cameras, and says she feels overwhelmed. She immediately gets in her car and calls Lydia.
In this incredibly sweet, deceptively calm, motherly voice.
I feel ready to talk about Joshua. Do you want to come to the farm on Saturday?
It is a complete blindside. She makes it sound like this intimate, healing, mother-daughter breakthrough is finally going to happen. She totally omits the tiny fact that she is actively organizing a family-wide attack on Lydia and Zac for that very same day.
It is classic manipulation. Secure the target's attendance under the guise of vulnerability, disarm them with the promise of love, and then strike when they are exposed.
It is so sinister. I needed a palate cleanser after that, but instead, we get transition to the awkward car ride of doom with Ethan and Tegan.
Ah, yes. The most tension-filled, joyless vehicle in the state of Georgia.
The energy in this car is staggering. Tegan has flown all the way across the country to Cairo, but she's staying in a hotel because, as she explicitly states to the cameras, they aren't together.
The physical and emotional distance is palpable. They have the chemistry of two people waiting for a bus in the rain.
Yes. So Ethan looks over at her with zero enthusiasm, zero sparkle in his eye, and announces that his divorce from Olivia is finally signed.
And Tegan responds with the exact same flatline energy. Well, that's good. A fresh start.
I was jumping off the couch. This is massive news. Ethan has spent years of our lives blaming every single problem in his existence on this divorce. The divorce is finally legally done, and they react with the energy of someone reading a grocery list. Oh, neat. Divorce.
Well, Ethan's emotional range is essentially limited to grunting, sighing, and occasionally fixing a carburetor.
Literally. But then, the car ride goes from incredibly boring to insanely shady. Ethan decides this is the perfect moment to execute a three things ambush on Tegan.
Yes, we have to break this down because this is where the mechanics of manipulation really start humming. He casually tells Tegan that Zac has been talking behind her back, and he lists three very specific accusations.
Which is just unhinged behavior for a casual drive.
Number one, Tegan is just using Ethan for his money.
Which, side note, what money? He buys old cars that don't run. Is there a Plath fortune buried under a tractor somewhere?
It makes no sense. Number two, Zac allegedly referred to Tegan's daughter as baggage. And number three, Zac thinks Tegan's sexuality is something Ethan shouldn't be okay with.
Okay, I have so many thoughts. First of all, dropping three massive, life-ruining accusations on someone like that. You don't just drop a grenade in the cup holder and keep driving.
No, you don't. And second, where's the footage of Zac saying these things? Calling a child baggage feels like a massive stretch for a guy who thinks every child is a blessing from the Lord.
Right. I don't buy it.
It feels highly likely that Ethan is engaging in triangulation. He is either entirely fabricating this or twisting something Zac said in passing to weaponize it. Why? To guarantee Tegan is isolated and solely on his side for the upcoming family brawl.
Oh, he's isolating her. He's making Zac the enemy before she even steps foot on the farm.
Exactly. If she feels attacked by the family, she has to rely entirely on Ethan for protection.
That is so toxic.
What?
But he's severely underestimated Tegan, because her reaction was pure, unbothered cowboy energy.
Absolute deadpan perfection. The gray rock method personified.
Yes. She doesn't yell, she doesn't cry, she just looks at him, completely monotone, and points out the massive hypocrisy. She reminds him that half the internet speculated on Ethan and Zac's sexuality.
And then she drops the line.
Jesus sat with sinners and saints, staring straight ahead.
It was a masterful shutdown. She effectively said, if Zac is so godly, why is he judging me? And if you have a problem with it, that's a you problem. She took Ethan's little grenade, deactivated it with logic, and handed it right back to him.
I am obsessed with her. She belongs in a different cinematic universe entirely. But okay, so they arrive at the farm on Saturday. Let's set the stage for this bizarre 4-in-1 farm party.
The logistical nightmare of the century.
I was trying to map out the logistics of this event, and my brain short-circuited. Because what exactly are we celebrating? It is billed as a surprise first wedding anniversary party for Lydia and Zac.
Cute. Right. Grab some balloons.
But wait, it is also a bench dedication ceremony for their deceased brother Joshua.
Okay, heavy pivot.
But wait, It is also a trauma-dumping group therapy session. And it is a coordinated family intervention to completely eviscerate Zac and Lydia.
What kind of banner do you buy at Party City for this? Happy anniversary, sorry about the trauma, we hate your husband. It violates every fundamental rule of event planning.
It violates the Geneva Conventions. Imagine showing up thinking you're going to eat a cupcake for your anniversary, and instead your mother-in-law is like, surprise, we are here to talk about my deepest, darkest trauma, and also you are ruining the family structure.
The emotional whiplash is designed to keep the targets off balance. And amidst all this chaotic party prep, we get the visual assault of Ken.
Oh my God, the ick factor was off the charts.
Yeah.
I physically recoiled. We get this shot of Kim's boyfriend Ken standing there braiding little Mercy's hair.
With his bare hands.
With his tobacco chew fingers. I was screaming at the television. Look, I'm glad he gets along with the younger kids, but I did not need a high-definition close-up of Ken's dip-stained hands weaving a French braid. Keep him off my screen.
It's an unsettling visual. But the real sinister action is happening away from the hair braiding. Kim pulls Tegan into her bedroom, which Tegan literally describes as feeling like being called into the principal's office.
Yes. Kim shuts the door and starts whispering about how Zac and Lydia have been judging people, including Tegan. She is planting seeds.
It is textbook narcissist behavior. Before a major confrontation, the narcissist will always gather their flying monkeys. Kim pulls people aside individually, feeds them a highly specific narrative, strokes their ego, and aligns them against the target.
It's so calculating. Ethan did it in the car, and now Kim is doing it in the bedroom. They are literally building an army to take down Lydia on her anniversary. But listen, there is a beacon of light in this dark farmhouse, and her name is Mariah.
We must remember the golden rule of this show. We shade everyone except Mariah.
Protect our Queen Mariah at all costs.
Oh.
So while Kim is outside assembling the Avengers of emotional abuse, Mariah and Amber, whose nickname is Hamster, which is honestly adorable, they stay inside the kitchen to bake a cake.
A highly strategic retreat. It is the physical manifestation of boundary setting.
A brilliant retreat.
Yeah.
We get the backstory on why they are hiding inside. Because apparently, Zac and Lydia recently visited Mariah in Montana and aggressively judged her entire lifestyle.
Right. Judged her for drinking alcohol, having liquor in our home, watching movies with profanity.
And Amber had a massive blowout fight with Zac in the car over it. She basically told him it wasn't his place to judge.
Amber held the line.
Go, Amber. But Mariah, she knows her piece is more valuable than being right. She tells the cameras she wants absolutely no part of this confrontation. So she goes to the kitchen to bake. And she tells this hilarious story about how the last time she tried to bake, her peach cobbler exploded into 500 pieces.
She is prioritizing her mental health by engaging in high-risk culinary activities instead of family dialogue. She chose the explosive glass dish over her explosive mother. We respect it.
I passionately hated her. She is a relatable soft girl icon. She just wants to vibe and avoid her messy family. But outside, the drama cannot be avoided. The confrontation begins.
The tension is so thick you could cut it with a chainsaw.
Everyone is gathered around on the grass. Isaac mentions the wooden bench he built for Joshua, noting specifically that only immediate family gets to sign it.
Unnecessary boundary. He's preserving the sanctity of his grief.
And then Kim, the maestro of this disaster, transitions from a casual afternoon into the heaviest conversation ever by awkwardly talking about the weather. Looks like the clouds are clearing up.
Isaac literally calls her out. Is this a weather meeting?
So Kim bypasses any actual healing, ignores Dr. Ty's advice completely, and immediately launches into an attack on Lydia for the podcast.
It's a profound misdirection. Instead of sitting in the discomfort of her daughter's grief, Kim weaponizes the podcast to make Lydia the aggressor and Kim the victim. Kim isn't mad that Lydia is grieving. She's mad Lydia is grieving out loud.
And Lydia immediately starts crying on her anniversary. And then Ethan, who has been boiling with rage this entire time, decides to pile on.
Entering his eldest boy era.
He acts like the patriarch and tells Lydia she shouldn't air family trauma publicly because, and I quote, "Mom's already gotten a lot of shit for how she raised us."
The analytical irony here is enough to break a supercomputer. Ethan Plath, the man who has spent the last 4 years on international television detailing exactly how his mother traumatized him, is now policing his sister for doing the exact same thing.
I was yelling at the screen. I was like, Ethan, look in a mirror. You were the president of the Kim Plath Ruined My Life fan club.
He doesn't actually care about King's reputation. He just wants to use any ammunition to punish Lydia because she is attached to Zac.
And speaking of reacting, Barry makes the weirdest interjection during this whole thing.
Barry always operates on a frequency that only dogs can hear.
He does this strange whispering defense of Kim. He jumps in, speaking in that weird hushed tone, to confirm to Lydia that the divorce was not about Joshua. But he's so creepy about it.
He wants to defend Kim just enough to keep her from turning her wrath on him, but he refuses to actually take a firm stance for his daughter who is crying. He is the ultimate passive bystander.
Totally. So Zac decides to step in and defend his wife. He says Lydia just wanted a safe place to talk.
Which is objectively true.
But Ethan completely pivots. He drops the podcast issue and attacks Zac for interjecting his opinions on the younger kids, the video games, the movies.
Ethan basically says, you are a guest in this family, stop acting like the moral authority, which, objectively, is a valid frustration. Zac has been very preachy.
True. I'll give Ethan that point. But Zac's reaction was a masterclass in manipulation.
The tears, the Darvo. We have to explain this to the Snark Squad.
Yes. Break down the Darvo for us because it is crucial.
DARVO stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. It's used by highly manipulative people when confronted with their bad behavior. Ethan confronts Zac with a valid point. Instead of addressing it, Zac denies it by acting shocked, attacks Ethan's delivery, and then reverses the victim and offender.
With literal tears, he starts crying.
He says, man, so I'm a problem for the whole family. Got it. Cool, I'll just shut up and never be around. He completely deflects by threatening to run away. It forces everyone to comfort him instead of holding him accountable.
It worked perfectly. He made the entire trauma meeting about how persecuted he feels.
Zac and Kim are two sides of the exact same coin. They both require the entire family to regulate their self-esteem.
Wow. And the whole exhausting scene ends with the final, ultimate shade from Barry. You have to quote it.
Barry leans in, eyes wide, totally deadpan, and whispers, you're exporting your opinion into lands that don't want to import.
I want that printed on a mug. Exporting your opinion into lands that don't want to import. Barry is a historically useless father, but my God, he delivered the line of the season.
It makes perfect economic sense, even if it lacks emotional sense.
I needed a nap after that scene. Which brings us perfectly to our first segment, the Family Group Chat Awards.
Handing out the hardware for the messiest dynamics. Let's do it.
First up, most passive-aggressive.
Oh, this is a bloodbath, but it goes to Kim.
Fully agree.
Yeah.
You cannot beat planning an ambush disguised as a surprise anniversary party. Buying balloons for an emotional execution is next level.
The Michael Jordan of passive aggression.
Next category, biggest peacekeeper.
Runaway victory for Queen Mariah.
Give her the crown. She literally fled the scene to bake an exploding cake rather than argue.
A true peacekeeper knows when the battle isn't worth fighting.
An icon. Next, main character energy.
This makes me angry, but it goes to Zac.
Has to be Zac. He managed to take a memorial for a deceased child and make it entirely about his own hurt feelings.
Weaponizing tears to redirect the spotlight. Disgusting, but he wins.
Next up, most likely to start drama before breakfast.
Ethan Plath, without a doubt.
Dropping 3 massive accusations on Tegan during a morning car ride. He didn't even let the engine warm up.
He thrives on collateral damage because he can't process his own anger.
And finally, best eye roll moment.
Tegan.
The cowboy queen herself. Her deadpan reactions to Ethan's existence.
Jesus sat with sinners and saints. It wasn't even an eye roll, it was a soul roll.
She is spiritually exhausted by him, and we love her for it. Which brings us to segment 2, Soft Girl Farm Life Rankings.
Since Mariah was trying to live her best soft girl life in the kitchen, we need to rate these country activities out of 10 to see if we could hack it.
First up, baking bread or exploding peach cobblers.
I give it an 8 out of 10. The aesthetic is great, but the risk of exploding glass brings it down.
I'll give it a 9. Eating carbs while avoiding my mother-in-law sounds ideal. Next, feeding chickens.
3 out of 10. Chickens are tiny velociraptors and they smell awful.
1 out of 10. I am terrified of birds. I will buy my eggs at Whole Foods in the air conditioning. Next, gardening.
6 out of 10. Cute in theory, but the reality is dirt under your acrylics and sweating.
A total Instagram trap. I give it a 5. Next up, horseback riding.
2 out of 10.
Why so low?
Because it is analytically disastrous for the human spine. The bouncing, the lower back pain. Plus, horses are massive, unpredictable beasts.
You are so practical. I was going to say 7 for the cute outfits, but dropping it to a 4 because of the chafing. Finally, living without Wi-Fi.
0. -10.
Absolutely not. I completely reject this premise. How would I doom scroll on TikTok at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Living without Wi-Fi is a hostage situation.
It is an isolation tactic, so our soft girl lifestyle consists solely of eating Mariah's bread near a router.
Exactly. Segment 3, cowboy or crybaby? Let's label the cast. First up, Kim Plath.
Complete crybaby, playing the victim instead of listening to her kids.
100%. Next, Zac.
Complete crybaby, folding like a cheap lawn chair and crying when confronted.
Embarrassing. What about Ethan?
Someone who desperately needed a snack and a nap.
Yes. Grunting, angry, zero emotional regulation. He needs a juice box. And finally,
Tegan.
seasoned cowboy. Took Ethan's accusations to the chin, responded with logic, walked away. Legend. Which brings us to our final segment, the escape plan.
If we had to spend a weekend in Plathville, what are we packing?
I'll go first. My comfort item is a massive weighted blanket to hide under. My snack is neon orange cheese puffs, specifically because Kim would hate the artificial coloring.
Spike snacking, I love it.
My playlist is pure 2010s club anthems to drown out Barry's whispering. My emergency beverage is a large bottle of tequila, and my unnecessary luxury item is a portable infrared sauna so I can sweat out the toxic energy.
Highly chaotic, but effective. My approach is clinical. Comfort item. Military-grade noise-canceling headphones. Snack. A very complicated meal prep container that takes up way too much space in Kim's fridge to establish dominance.
Taking up fridge real estate is a power move.
Playlist. A 12-hour loop of brown noise to keep my heart rate low. Emergency beverage. A heavily caffeinated energy drink so my synapses are firing to dodge Kim's landmines. And my luxury item. A burner phone programmed with exactly one contact and Uber driver on retainer, idling at the end of the road for my immediate extraction.
I am yelling, an Uber driver on retainer. You win! That is the only way to survive this family. Have an extraction team waiting.
Basic risk management.
This conversation gave us so much to unpack. But before we wrap, we have to turn it over to the Snark Squad.
Yes. Which Plathville family member had you spiraling the most this week?
Let us know in the comments. And I want to leave you with one final provocative thought. If Zac and Lydia really move to Colorado to escape the family, will the Plaths finally have to look in the mirror and realize they are the toxic common denominator?
Yep.
Or will they just find a brand new scapegoat?
Terrifying to consider who is next in line.
It really is. Thank you so much for listening. Remind yourselves to like, comment, subscribe, and share the episode with another snarker who needs their weekly reality check.
Keep the group chats unhinged.
Stay messy, stay hydrated, and we'll see you on the snark side.